So here we are with another Foresight special. And well, this one's going to be great because we're actually preparing for the return of the PGA Tour, joined by, well, one of our ambassadors and a PGA Tour professional who, well, he happens to be my brother, but also preparing to play at Colonial Country Club next week. So, well, Justin James, World Long Drive Champion of 2017. We love having you on the Foresight team, and thank you for giving us this insight today into one of your sessions with Russell before you guys get going.
You're very welcome. I'm looking forward to it.
Now, this is going to be your last session before Russell heads to Colonial Country Club. And the brilliant thing is Russell's a big supporter of Foresight technology and uses the quad. You guys can actually set up the conditions on the quad. So do you want to talk us through how you do that?
Yeah, so we'll play with the wind a little bit. Obviously, Russell's really familiar with the wind at Colonial. And we can even play around with turf conditions and everything. So right now, we can just move wind here. I'll set it at 10-mile-an-hour wind because, I mean, usually at Colonial, we never have no wind. Yeah, he wants me to turn it down, so I can certainly. I mean, we can add fog. There's a number of things we can do. So what we can really do is we can use real-world data, and we can connect ourselves to the internet to what's going on right now. We can also look at the forecast and what's coming. So if I'm not mistaken, there's like a tropical storm headed that way. So I haven't looked at it in detail too much on what it's going to be like Thursday, Friday. But what we'll do, we'll play around with that a little bit today and kind of see, play around with some different winds and just give ourselves some kind of different looks. But main thing that we're trying to do, because we're already mapped like elevation and whatnot, is just get some angles, what corners we're going to cut. He's added about 10 miles an hour in ball speed, so he's hitting it 20 yards, 30 yards farther than he played last time. So kind of prepare ourselves and get a more detailed practice session in, if that makes sense.
I mean, it's still realistic. I mean, obviously I've played Colonial quite a few times, but I mean, it's amazing how accurate it's set up. I mean, it'll probably also take me a few swings to get going here. But, I mean, Colonial in the past, I've always just aimed it at that second bunker there, and it's quite a good hit to reach there. So if you can just slide it off the bunker a little tape, it'd be perfect. But now maybe because I've added the little bomb to my arsenal, maybe we'll scoot it over a little bit and see if we can. I mean, a good drive here is a huge advantage because you can reach the green too. So starting off with potential easy birdie is big. So we'll start with off.
And so generally what we're going to do is we're going to take the data that's spit out from here, and then what it's giving us right now is the most valuable part. It's giving us carry, it's giving us roll. And the great thing about practicing indoors for something like me, what I do, long drive, is I'm seeing exactly how launch, spin, ball speed equate to exact distance. And I can see, 3 and 4 yards. Why did the ball go 404? Why did it go 394? Sometimes my ball speed is going to be higher, but it's not going to go as far. So you can really take a deep dive into the data, and then you can change turf conditions and see what a 10-degree launch does and how that equates. And so when we're trying to squeak out every yard at the professional level, this is all the numbers that matter, especially obviously with what I do for a living with long drive.
And what's the objective from today then? As we said, Russell's not going to stand there and play 54 holes, but will it be a session before he hits the road? And the fact that you do get to come in and play Colonial, what's the plan for today's session?
Well, I think it's just to get some looks at, some different holes, and Colonial's very challenging, dog leg lefts and rights. So get ourselves familiar with some of the angles we want to take. And then on some of these, open up the throttle a little bit and see what kind of the new angles we're going to take are, because again, he's hitting it, 20, 30 yards farther than last year. So, like on this hole, for example, he's hitting it through the fairway quite a bit. So let's work that draw a little bit more. Do we even need to hit 3-wood potentially, and just kind of, work on a lot of tee balls? That's the focus for today. But, he's been on Colonial quite a bit, playing, and then, working angles with irons, et cetera. So it's very detailed, the course layout. But primarily today, like we, at least one day a week, we get in here or sometimes outside and just push it with the driver. And that's, for amateurs at home, that's one thing, the big mistake I see. And you can add a fitness program and you can be doing a lot of the good things, amateurs and professionals. But unless you actually execute, get out there, open the throttle up, push speed, it would be like you're trying to be an Olympic sprinter and you never sprinting. So if you want to gain speed, you've actually got to get out here and add speed and push it and try to gain speed. So that's what we're doing.
Thank you so much for your time, because it's been great to get an insight into what you do and, of course, how you use the quad to get the results that you're both looking for. And hopefully it's going to lead to a lot of success over the coming weeks and months on the PGA Tour.